XM Studios has been teasing it, and Spider-Man fans have been asking for it. Today, XM dropped one of the most requested villains for their Spider-Man collection, the Rhino. But is this everything that we've been waiting for? Time to find out. Welcome back to What Would George Do, where I highlight a recent release and give you my thoughts on it. For Spider-Man statue collectors, Rhino has been a long time in coming. The last Rhino statue was a 1/4 scale bust produced by XM Studios. Previous to that, Sideshow's Comiquette, and before that, the Ultimate Randy Bowen. XM Studios is no stranger to the Spider-Man villains. The last one to come off the line was Green Goblin, which came out extremely good, I might add. I did a review on that one. XM has also produced a Mysterio, a Dr. Octopus, a Lizard, a Scorpion, a Vulture, an Electro, a Sandman, a Kraven, Venom, and a Carnage. So I have to take my hats off to them for sticking to the line. I hate it when statue companies start out making a run and then just never finish it. XM's Rhino is seen rampaging through New York City, standing atop a New York City taxi cab. The license plate features ASM number 41, referring to the first appearance of Rhino in The Amazing Spider-Man number 41, released in 1966. Overall, this is a very impressive sculpt, I feel, by Thiago Rios. I like the destroyed base and the crushed taxi cab. It looks really cool. It sets the scene, makes me feel that Rhino is in the middle of a fight with either the police or Spider-Man or somebody else, I don't know. And it looks pretty damn impressive in my opinion. The taxi looks like it's flipped over, probably the rear of the car, since I can make out a half-cut rear transmission or possibly the gas tank. I also like that Rios added in little details like the axles, tire tread, and the texturing on the asphalt to really push the realism. And Rhino looks massive and incredible. The statue stands a little under 20 inches high and a little over 20 inches wide and almost about the same deep. So it's got a very square footprint when you're trying to display this in your collection. I like that it has this realistic take on the comic look for the character. The skin is full of texture and plating that sells the whole rhinoceros skin vibe. Even the nails and the toenails have the coloring and the texturing throughout that to give it that whole rhino vibe. I think the portrait also looks really good. It definitely has that comic look and you get those angry vibes. I like how you can make out the folds in his skin, the angry expression, the way the mouth is open, and again, the horn on his head gives it that whole rhinoceros look. Now, I think it could have been really cool if they would have made the face resemble more of John Romita Jr.'s art style, considering that it was his father that created this signature look way back in the 60s. Now, with all of that, I do have a few critiques. Most are simple changes. One is a very big overall change. First, the license plate. I think it's a nice touch that they made it the ASM number 41 on the plate to honor the comic book, but it's meant to be an Easter egg, but I think that it would have been cool if they would have made it a little more hidden so only the keenest of Spider-Man fans could make it out. Now, I could be wrong, but in my many years of driving, I have never seen a license plate that has a hashtag or a number symbol in the license plate. Maybe just having ASM 4166 would have been plenty. Actually, I looked it up, and the New York City license plates currently consist of 3 letters at the beginning and 4 numbers afterwards, so it would work out really well, and adding the 66 in the back would show off the year that the comic came out. Now, secondly, I feel that the color of Rhino is a little bit dark. He's actually kind of lighter in the comics. Giving him a lighter gray would give the painters an option to add in some shading tones, which I think would make it pop. And the overall size is coming into question for me, especially when you scale him there with that car. Now, I did a little research, and really different artists have made Rhino in varying sizes, some making him huge and others more to size. The official size for him is 6.5 feet tall, which puts him at about 19.5 inches tall if he were standing straight up without the base. Considering that he's crouched over because he's walking or charging in this scene and the added height of the street and the car, I think the 20 inches tall seems a little bit small for him. He could be just a bit bigger. Also, the dimensions of the car seems a little bit small as well. Your Crown Victoria, which is the average New York City cab, is about 77 inches wide, which in quarter scale puts it at about 19.25 inches wide. Now, it's crushed in this image and it looks like it's kind of bent, so I could be wrong, but it just seems a little bit off. Still, none of that to me really takes away from the piece in my opinion. Now, the one big critique that I could have is I know the idea is to have Rhino here charging or running. It's because that's his signature move in the comics. Now, I really don't get that vibe from this when I'm looking at it. It looks like he's walking, maybe even about to throw that tire to whoever he's fighting. Personally, I would have liked to see him in a full charge, kind of like how Randy Bowen did back in the day with his arms pulled back, the head aimed forward and the horn out, making it look like he's charging and using the horn like he would in the comics. Another really cool pose that I found while I was trying to get some reference for the face here is to have him punching into the ground and then the other arm pulled way back to give it a lot more dynamic feel. But that's just my opinion of what it could have looked like. Now this one's going for about $940 plus shipping if you're looking to pick it up at Cosmic Chase Collectibles, which I'll leave a link in the description below to get to, which puts it right in the price range of Sideshow's classic Comiquette. Now, I've never seen the Sideshow one in person, but that one stands roughly about the same size and with a lot less going on in the base, which would make it a lot easier to display. It does have the Rhino booty, though, which a lot of people have pointed out, but oddly enough, it's probably more comic accurate than the XM Studios version. And for me anyway, there's the added bonus that I could probably find a US seller, which would save me on some shipping. So what would George do? I think that it's an awesome statue. While I would have preferred a different pose, the small changes to make it a little lighter gray and that little license plate change is not really a big deal and would make it, in my opinion, look a little better. Still, for me, I would chase down the Sideshow at this price point. It's easier to display, a lot more comic looking, and would be cheaper for me with shipping. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this behemoth. Let's discuss.